You entrusted your loved one's care to a nursing home, expecting compassion and quality treatment. Instead, they suffered from neglect, abuse, bed sores, falls, or medication errors that could have been prevented. I'm Chris Brown from Geiger Legal Group. Our elderly deserve dignity and proper care, not negligence that causes pain and suffering. When nursing homes fail in their duty of care, we fight to hold them accountable. Your loved one's suffering matters. We'll stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves.
Call Geiger Legal Group at 833-HELP-GLG and let us tell your story today.
You snoozed twice this morning, spilled your coffee once, and you've already blamed last night's referee for your morning mood.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's time to embrace the chaos and step into the madness.
Bro, you about to see a side of me you didn't even know existed.
Featuring guests who are over-caffeinated and less reasonable than the average person.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
Come on, man. Are you serious? Ugh.
Fans, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Welcome to the show.
So buckle up. It's time for hot takes and hot mics. This is the Morning Rant, where the only thing more unpredictable is Dave before his third cup of coffee.
I just felt like running.
On WPGY, the Sports Pig.
Good morning, everyone. It's a Rally Towel Tuesday right here on the Morning Rant. Thanks for being with us. Again, it's all brought to you by your friends at Geiger Legal Group. Again, North Georgia's #1 personal injury attorney is Geiger. Give them a call today at 833-HELP-GLG. That's 833-HELP-GLG. And let them tell your story today. Dave Garner alongside my man Will Cooper. That's right, man. Usually it's Billy D here on a Rally Towel Tuesday, but Billy D is out of town this week, so we are double dipping this week with my man, Willie Coop. He'll be with us again on Thursday as we bring you the Tomahawk Take and, of course, our high school prep rally as well in the Cooper Predictor. But we're going to touch on some of that as well here today because we do have Will Cooper in the house, and we want to take advantage of his knowledge, his next-gen knowledge, and all the different things, of course, that he brings to the program. What's up, partner?
Hey, just trying to forget what I saw last night in 2 different games. But other than that, man, I guess I'm okay.
I tell you, what's funny about that is, again, last night we had a soccer watch party over in Dalton that I hosted over on our sister station over on 101.1 The Pulse. We were live at Burr Park in downtown Dalton. A great crowd. I mean, it looked very much like a mini FIFA World Cup fan fest that we've seen down in Atlanta with all the record number of, turnouts and things that we've seen, but certainly on a little bit smaller scale. Nonetheless, the excitement was there, and then all that buildup just to play like that, and then, of course, I know you're also talking about our Atlanta Braves, who I kind of switched over after I'd gotten home from all that. And kind of saw what happened there. Matt Olson hits the 2-run homer to put the game in the extra innings, and yet we still somehow find a way to falter. So we're going to talk a lot about our Atlanta Braves here over this next hour, and, of course, the World Cup as well. But I guess really, Coop, your initial thoughts on Team USA last night.
Well, look, Team USA looked a lot like Carson Beck in a night game at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Those guys were deer in headlights. Just awful. Matt Freese doing his best Young Wei Koo impersonation, kicking the ground before he even kicks the ball. I guess he gets a little slack from me because he's only got 2 jobs instead of just 1. He does get to use his hands. Obviously couldn't outside of the 7-yard box, but that's fine. Look, we don't have any killers on this team. And I think this is where people keep going back to is when we hear about guys like Christian Pulisic, and if you didn't know who he was, then you saw every single commercial that ever existed put him in there. We all got wrapped up in this consumerism wave of we're going to be good. They keep trotting out the Miracle on Ice team thinking that, we're going to repeat that 46 years later. And, we're left at the end of the day with a group of guys that like Christian Pulisic, it's like Derrick Rose, man. He's great when he plays. Is that right? Because in his 7 World Cup games, he's left injured or has not played in 5 of them. 5. He is worse than half at World Cup games of even playing the whole thing. The guy may be great. I don't know. Could have fooled me. To me, it's just pointless. And the only guy that was worth a dang on the team, really 2 of them, is Balogun and Tillman. And after all that belly aching and hee-hawing that Belgium was doing about getting the red card reversed, here at the end of the day, I get it because Balogun was the only one worth a dang. But, at the end of the day, Deep breath. We're 52 days away from college football. We're even less further away than that from training camp in the NFL. So that's all I got to say.
You're on a roll, man. You're on a roll. I'm just letting you roll right here because I think, and I sense your frustration, just like I think the rest of the country is frustrated. I mean, we were built up to believe that maybe, just maybe, we had something a little different this time around, and we were listening to all the pundits. Even, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, if you don't believe, then you should now, and we've been listening to all these guys, and rightfully so, but we did not get that version of Team USA last night in the World Cup. I'll be honest with you. I think it was a pitiful performance. I hate to be that critical of my own nation, but it was pitiful because it's not what we've seen. Unsportsmanlike right here. Again, we're the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia. Very critical this morning, not only of the performance, but also question the leadership. Where was the leadership? A lot of folks felt like this was a USA team that could match the physicality of Belgium. It wasn't there. Belgium was way more physical, of course, than the United States. And it begs the question, did the red card work against the U.S.? I mean, the USA seemed overwhelmed. To your point, Balogun, yeah, somewhat of a factor. Certainly not, terribly effective in the game. But, again, it takes 10 other guys as well. Not sure exactly what Freeze was doing that far away from the goal. I understand the ball over the top and everything, but you got to let your defenders defend. You get caught a little bit too far away, and then, boom, you're not able to clear the ball out of there. I mean, kick it out of there. What was he even doing, in that situation? So the game was is pretty much over with at that point anyway. And then, of course, the last touch there by Lukaku, again, putting it in to make it 4-1. It's unfortunate because really all of the games, as you know, Coop, have been fantastic. I mean, in the World Cup, to me, this has still been one of the best World Cups, if not the best World Cup in history, at least in recent memory for me. But I just hate that the one non-competitive match of the entire round of 16 featured our own U.S. team last night against Belgium.
That's my frustration. So as a sports fan, I don't mind losing. It's part of being a sports fan. If you root for any team, they're going to lose eventually. So it's not about losing. It's not about the fact that they even got blown out. It's the fact that they didn't even look like they were prepared. It looked like they were deer in headlights, and they were at home. This was in Seattle. This isn't like we had to fly to, New Braunfels or something. I mean, what are we doing? You guys have the biggest home crowd that's ever been had for a Team USA game. The buildup is there, and you come out and seriously, I mean, that first goal where 3 guys are there, could have cleared it. Not a single one of them jumped up and took it. Somebody's got to be the dog on that team, and right now they don't have it. And my frustration even comes back to Coach Pochettino a little bit when he comes back and he says, we didn't have any answers. Well, brother, that's on you, my man. You had the same amount of time to prepare. You knew what they were going to do. I mean, they didn't shock you with any of this. So that's my frustration, is just not being able to even pretend like you could put together a competitive effort, because I know they're better than that. I mean, they played 10 men down against Bosnia in the round of 32 and found a way to even score a goal in that and win 2-0. And the best defense you can do is give up 4? Really?
Yeah. With
Unreal.
11 on the field.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was as if they were playing a man or two down last night. It's kind of what it felt like, for this American squad. Hey, a busy show. What do you think, man? Jasper Coca-Cola text line is now open, 866-888-0744. Chime in. Tell us what you thought last night of the performance by Team USA or by our Atlanta Braves, which we're going to dive into as well. Some Wimbledon news and notes. Of course, today is Tuesday, which means we have our 100% chiropractic moment with our favorite chiropractor, Dr. Keith Riggy, down there in Canton, Georgia. 100% chiropractic. No keeping it real with Billy D today because, well, Billy D's not here. He's out of town. But maybe we'll keep it real with Will Cooper. You got a good rant in you maybe later in the show that you can go off on a tangent on?
I think I just did, but yeah, I'm sure I can come up with another one.
Yeah, you might have to come up with another one right there. We're going to continue to rant about this Team USA. That's a given, but we'll go in some other directions as well. And, of course, we'll have our weekly restaurant inspection scores to you. Again, brought to you by our friends at Papa John's and Ella J. Better pizza, better ingredients. Order online at papajohns.com. Again, a Rally Towel Tuesday right here. Let's talk a little bit, speaking of dogs. Man, the Braves also kind of playing like it, as we know. Raisel Iglesias, listed as an all-star. It's a good thing the voting was already tabulated tabulated before the last week or two, essentially, because we've seen a couple of shaky outings for Rizal lately, and last night was certainly no different. They've given up some late inning runs, and just not. They got a good performance. Matt Olson, a 2-home run night, hits the 2-run homer in the ninth to put the game in extra innings. But then beyond that, again, another falter. So the best you can do is come away with a split against the awful New York Mets, and now you've got to hope that you can salvage a little bit of this series and hang on to that slim 3-game lead heading into the All-Star break with the Pirates on deck.
Yeah, and it's an especially frustrating night because it was a night that you could have picked up a game on the Phillies and gone back out to 4. And to your point, I think the part that we may mischaracterize as a guy like Iglesias because we're all looking for answers right now because we're all frustrated. I don't think the anger pointed at Iglesias is fair necessarily. Hindsight's 2020. Why would you pitch to Juan Soto? He's the only guy in the Mets lineup that hit consistently. Outside of that, though, I mean, this is a guy that had a sub-1 ERA. Nobody has a sub-1 ERA for that long. Again, he's 36 years old. A little bit of reality check there. I think my frustration more comes with the managing of the entire bullpen all the way through. I know that Walt Weiss has had to deal without Suarez and trying to plug holes. And, it's almost like we're a sinking ship. And Walt Weiss is running around throwing duct tape over the holes instead of breaking out the bilge pumps in here. Same thing, man. We get to extra innings. That's great. Matt Olson bails you out. Awesome. That's what you're supposed to do. So you go to the top of the 10th, and who do you bring out? Owen Murphy made his major league debut. Why in the world would you ask a guy making his major league debut to step in there? And people are going to argue with that and say, oh, if you're on the big league roster, you got to be ready to play. You got to be ready for any event. Okay, you set him up to lose knowing that in extra innings, there's already a runner on second. You're basically telling him like, hey, man, you're going to give up a run. How do you tell that to a kid who just came up in Major League Baseball, who's only been pitching as a starting pitcher in AAA, AA, Single A, and in his collegiate career? It's the most mind-boggling thing to me to say now you're going to be thrown into a reliever role, and we're going to do it in extra innings. Why didn't you break that out in the 7th inning? Why didn't you break that out earlier? To me, it's dumbfounding to me that this is the position we're in. Again, the bullpen is a little bit down, but it's not that far down. If this is truly one of the top 5 bullpens in baseball, Owen Murphy can't be your answer in a 10th inning game. Again, nothing wrong with Owen Murphy. It's entirely it's bad management. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of what happened last night, Dave. I'm really not. I don't have a lot of patience for it anymore.
I know, man. I don't think anybody does. I mean, to your point, Owen Murphy, number 6 prospect in the Braves organization. But I agree with you, man. I mean, to put him out there in that situation, I'm like, my goodness, did you just run out of arms? I mean, did you just feel like over the last few days of this series, you didn't have any other options in that situation? I mean, it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Hey, we're going to talk about that a little bit more on the other side of the break. A lot of Braves talk today here on this Rally Towel Tuesday. Also, a lot of USA World Cup reaction. Going to focus a little bit on what's ahead for the World Cup, because remember, there's still a lot of good games left to be played, even though Team USA will not be a part of it. Argentina in Atlanta today against Europe. The stars are shining. Will it happen again today with Salah and Messi? More to come right here on this Tuesday edition of the program, brought to you by your friends at Geiger Legal on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia, on the SportsPig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Make your home's air healthier. Green Heating and Cooling can help by installing a Bryant Evolution air purifier just for you. Using Captures and Kills technology, this highly advanced MERV15 filter captures many select airborne pathogens. It also helps improve indoor air quality for both asthma and allergy sufferers by filtering air impurities like dust, pollen, and pet dander. Call to schedule an evaluation. Green Heating and Cooling, your top Bryant authorized dealer, whatever it takes.
Big opinions of the big games from the big mouths.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's the Morning Rant on WPGY, the Sports Pig, North Georgia's home for ESPN Radio.
Sit down.
Back here on this Rally Towel Tuesday, ranting today. Hey, it's the Morning Rant, right? I mean, we got to rant a little bit. That's the name of the show. Dave Garner ranting with Will Cooper this morning about that pitiful performance last night from Team USA. Pitiful. Not gonna candy coat it. A lot of frustration here today on the program, not only with Team USA but also with our Atlanta Braves. We're here with our Braves insider, the Golden Boy Will Cooper, once again here on this Rally Towel Tuesday. Hey, coming up, our 100% chiropractic moment. Also, we're going to keep it real with Will Cooper today, so we'll have the keeping it real with the Golden Boy, and we'll just talk about whatever direction we want to go. Also, restaurant inspection scores a little bit later in the program here today. But Coop, I do want to circle back, talk a little bit about our Braves. You've been pretty level-headed on this program about the Braves, and one of the things that I can say, I think, about both of those, games last night, if we're talking about USA Soccer and we're talking about our Atlanta Braves, you've said it since day one of this program. Look at the back of the baseball card. Eventually, things kind of even out. And I think we've kind of seen that with our Atlanta Braves potentially over the last month or two. A team that was probably playing realistically above their head, the second best start, I think, in franchise history or something like that over the first, 30 days of the season. Now we're seeing a team that's absolutely falling apart. I like to think that maybe this team is somewhere in the middle, because at this point, seeing the way things are playing out, I think that you hope that this team is maybe at least somewhere in the middle of that. I think with the U.S. men's team, and I'll let you kind of chime in on both these, I think that the U.S. men's team also, we kind of returned to the medium a little bit last night. I mean, we saw this team play very well early on throughout the tournament. Last night, just kind of an awful performance. Belgium probably had a lot to do with that. But I think we saw this U.S. men's team also kind of return to the back of their baseball card a little bit, maybe a little bit last night, and they're probably somewhere in the middle of where they played last night and where they played previously against Bosnia.
Yeah, so I'll start with the Braves. Yes, there is certainly a return to the back of the baseball card. Somewhat though. So here are some things that I find most frustrating about this season with the Braves. When we looked at June and you saw how far they fell from their April and May high, that was inevitable at some point. The part that made it look a lot worse than it probably actually was that the Phillies went on a May-type run just a month after the Braves did. So the reason we're so even now is because their April was so bad and our April was so good, and now it's kind of evened out. And again, that's kind of the reality. We aren't 10 games better than the Phillies. We're probably, if we're lucky, probably 5. We might be 3. We might not even be better. It might be one of those that we're playing right up until the end. The frustration comes from this, though, Dave, is that a guy like Austin Riley, and I know people feel like I pick on him. I know. I hear you.
Well, everybody, because it's deserving.
We got to turn over the baseball card and say, what do we got? We are 3 days away from the All-Star break at this point. And the All-Star break is the statistical halfway point in the season. He is still batting below 210. He still only has 9 home runs. This is a guy that in a career this year removed, he hits 270 and averages 32 home runs a year. Something is structurally wrong. It's no longer a small sample size. It's no longer, but he had 2 hits on Saturday. Oh, you saw that home run on Sunday. No. That does not solve the problem, and we see that again last night. There's runners on first and second. He comes up, and we're lucky that it was a swinging bunt that he couldn't roll over into a double play because he's the double play king. So that's the frustration of it, is where some of that stuff starts to condense itself. Because, if we could just turn over the baseball card, we'd be good. But we're not even able to turn over the baseball card on some of these guys anymore. Austin Riley's one of them. Drake Baldwin, for the life of me, I don't know what got into the Braves front office where they decided that these guys no longer need an extended period to rehab. Drake Baldwin played 1 game in AAA, hit a home run. They said, great, bring him up. He hits 1 home run at his first at bat back, and everybody's thinking this is awesome. Well, then he admits 3 weeks later, as he's batting less than 100, he's telling you, I'm not used to seeing this pitching. It's been over a month. These guys are throwing the ball better than what I expected.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, guess what, guys? Did you not know that it take him talking to 680 The Fan for you to be able to figure that out? Was it Braves Vision that broke that news to the Braves front office? I sure hope not. So there's a lot of frustration I have with that. And then as far as Team USA goes, man, look, I watched the England-Mexico game. First of all, one of the best soccer games that I've ever seen in my very limited time of watching soccer, so that may not mean much to people, but it looked like a lot of fun. Here's the thing, though, is that when England brings on subs, they're saying, oh, the Man City midfielder is now being replaced by the Liverpool midfielder. The Chelsea forward is now being replaced by the Arsenal forward. These guys are all Premier League level, up and down the roster, 26 man. When we're talking about Team USA, we're talking about, oh, the Chicago Fire, midfielder is being replaced by the New York FC. We're not even playing the same sport at a certain level here because we're talking about MLS compared to Premier League. This is like saying we got the Rome Emperors out here playing a really, really solid game against, the New York Yankees or something like that. I mean, it's just two different even worlds that we're arguing about.
Miles Robinson for Atlanta United 2 out there trying to defend, somebody. So, I mean, it's, it is one of those situations, and it's not necessarily apples to apples. I mean, there are some guys on this Team USA roster that do play overseas, certainly in some different leagues. We talked about Balogun and Christian Pulisic, obviously, are legit guys. But to your point, Pulisic's just kind of been banged up the entire tournament. They had no choice but to sub him last night because he just couldn't run. I mean, he couldn't do anything last night. We did have a texter on our Jasper Coca-Cola text line, 866-888-0744, by the way, says, how much will Team USA's shameful loss put back the U.S. embracing soccer? And that's from Anita in Woodstock. Thank you, Anita, for the text there. It could. I think there's a lot of people, especially with the World Cup being in America, that are casual soccer fans because, as you said, we know to the day, 52 days until the start of football season. Well, we know that here. Our football is American football. Soccer, all around the world. But I think that you have a lot of casual fans here in the United States that are kind of paying attention because of the buildup, not only of having the World Cup here, but also hearing a lot about how good this USA men's team really was. I think that you're probably going to have some folks now that just aren't going to care anymore. They're going to kind of be like, oh, well, that lasted, all of a minute, and they're going to go back to not watching soccer anymore. I think soccer is, from a popularity standpoint, is still, it's gaining popularity in the U.S. I think the MLS is growing with some of the guys that have played overseas, playing out their twilight of their career in the MLS just to make one last paycheck. But to your point, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, the loss last night, I think definitely a lot of American fans are probably going to kind of quit watching. Some of the more casual fans, I think, are probably going to quit watching, if I had to guess.
Yeah. So here's the problem that we ran into with this is that we hosted the World Cup. And we're still hosting it. But this was the year that Team USA really could have made people believers.
Right.
And the difference between losing to Belgium and losing to Spain would have been massive. If we had beaten Belgium, and then you're talking about another 4 days of build-up to go to, to play Spain, and then, you might lose 1-0, 2-0, whatever. But if it was competitive in those two games, people would be bought in. People would sign that line and say, you know what, let's build some attention on this. The problem is that for a casual fan like me, who's admittedly really sunk himself into this sport and tried to learn it, and I'm kind of sitting there like, all right, well, what Premier League team am I a fan of? Am I going to watch Bundesliga? I'm trying to kind of see where I'm going to be. I am sick to my stomach about it as a result of yesterday. And the reason is that I sat there in the middle of watching pick two teams, Cape Verde and Colombia, and I'm sitting there thinking, how good actually are we in comparison to these teams? Well, then you got Michelob Ultra. You don't believe in miracles? We got the Lay's potato chips bus. I see David Beckham and Christian Pulisic on every ad that was ever created. And I was bought in. I was swept up in it. And now it feels like I got kicked in the nuggets. I mean, it feels like a true punch to the gooey bag.
We all felt like that this morning, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, I'm kind of turned off by the whole thing. What's your pipeline, man? I mean, Tim Ream is out there with an AARP card running around. He's the best defensive guy we got. That's the captain of the team. Is a guy that should be, selling life insurance. He shouldn't be out here, competing in a World Cup.
He got tore up on that header, that second goal. or I think it was the second goal. But anyway, I mean, yeah, what a kick, like you said, to the Nuggets. A good way to put it, especially after the U.S. got the equalizer 1-1, and we're sitting there feeling really good about ourselves. And before we even get done cheering, I mean, before even Andreas Cantor can finish the goal call, they've already put another one into the net, and it's back to a 1-goal deficit at 2-1. So it just got the excitement completely taken out of that match last night. I feel you're frustrated. This is probably, between the Braves and then watching World Cup last night, I got to be honest with you, Coop, this is probably the most frustrated I've seen you since we started this program back in March.
It's fair. It is fair. And again, it's not even one of those. I'm trying to remember when I've been as frustrated. It might have been since the Super Bowl that the Falcons lost, maybe an equal frustration to today. And that might sound like insane to people. But it really was. We sat and watched Team USA. Sarah said, what else are we going to watch? And I said, the Braves are on. And I looked on ESPN and they were up by a run. And I said, let's watch them pee away this lead. And she laughed and she said, you can't be so negative all the time. And when they lost, I said, I told you exactly what was going to happen. It never fails with these guys.
Yeah. People always say, you Atlanta fans have such a defeatist attitude. Even Atlanta sports talk stations talk about that. I'm like, well, it's because we have a large enough sample size to feel that way. I think we're very vindicated in the way that we feel about certain things, especially when it comes to Atlanta sports. Unfortunately, that obviously the USA men's team has nothing to do with that, but still a similar type performance. But yeah, I mean, they build you up to let you down, and that's why all those jokes exist about, I'm going to have all the Atlanta Falcons as my pallbearers because they can, let me down one more time, and all that. I mean, there's a reason why those jokes exist, right? And I know they exist in other parts of the country as well. But nonetheless, yeah, the Braves, to me, and we're up against our second break, it just really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, at this point, to your point, you can't really even just look at the back of the baseball card because we're seeing a complete 180, an opposite direction. Like I said, I hope the baseball card says that this team is somewhere in the middle of where they're playing at right now, because that would be a lot better than where they're at. I hope this is not the foreshadowing of what we can expect in the second half of the season from this Atlanta Braves club by any means.
I'm with you. To keep it really brief, we can go into some of the baseball card stuff. I've kept a list of it because it frustrates the crap out of me, and I'm such a nerd that I obsess over this stuff, I guess. But yeah, I mean, just very brief. The back of the baseball card said Team USA was supposed to lose last night, and they showed up exactly like we expected. We all just got swept up in the love of the game. The Braves, on the other hand, it's a bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, and we may need another segment to do that. Hey, we'll talk a little bit more Braves here in the program. Braves heavy today here on this Rally Towel Tuesday presented by your friends at Geiger Legal Group. But good stuff, my man, the Golden Boy Will Cooper, bringing it on a Tuesday. We'll take a timeout and come right back with our 100% chiropractic moment. We'll keep it real with Will Cooper. We'll have our restaurant inspection scores, all that and more in the final half hour of the program today, leading up to our man Chuck Oliver, the king of college football, at 11 a.m. with Southern Sports Today and the Chuck Oliver Show. Keep it right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Welcome to your hometown pub. Open 7 days a week, the pub in LJ is your happy hour hangout. They offer a variety of dishes to satisfy every palate, and their friendly staff is here to ensure a wonderful time. Join them for daily happy hour specials Monday through Thursday. And don't forget, every Wednesday is Wing Wednesday with $1 wings all day long. Located at 941 Maddox Drive in East LJ. Open Sunday through Wednesday till midnight, Thursday through Saturday till 2 a.m. The Pub in LJ, where every visit feels like home. We bring the heat. You bring the trash talk.
Come on, man. Are you serious?
It's the Morning Rant, live on the Sports Pig app and sportspigradio.com.
Back here on a Rally Towel Tuesday, presented by your friends at Geiger Legal. North Georgia's #1 personal injury attorney is Geiger Legal. Offices in Canton and Dalton, but they serve all of North Georgia and beyond. Again, give them a shout at 833-HELP-GLG and let them tell your story today. Coop, again, a lot of things going on as we talked about. We are going to have our favorite doctor on here in just a moment, Dr. Keith Riggy, joining us from 100% Chiropractic in Canton. Again, and some of these guys, I mean, we're talking about chiropractic stuff, could definitely use a little bit of help there, particularly some of these guys that can't stay healthy, like the Michael Harrises and some of those folks that we've talked about
You're just trying to make
right here. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to turn you green like the Hulk here, man, because you're ranting and raving, and rightfully so, certainly. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things going on, especially with our Atlanta Braves. The All Star break, will it help or will it hurt? Hopefully, it'll help us. I mean, because I think at this point we need something to kind of bail us out. But who's to say what kind of team we're going to have when we return to action after the All Star break? I mean, we're well represented in the All Star game, by the way. Ozzy Albies and Drake Baldwin named as starters, despite Drake's recent, big time slump here. Still named as a starter. Matt Olson, of course, listed as a reserve. Rizel Iglesias there as well, along with who's the other one I'm missing? There's another one. Chris Sale, thank you. Sale's kind of lived up to the billing, certainly, but he's really your really only bona fide number one guy, if you will, I think, in that starting rotation there. So I know the Braves are playing with a lot of lineups, but man, it's just it's one of those things where there's just almost no explanation for it.
Well, when you mention are we going to be better or worse, I will quote one of the great films in American history, and that is Christmas Vacation, and say, worse? How can it get any worse? Look around you, Ellen. We're on the threshold of hell. And that's my response to worse. I think it'll help. I mean, hopefully some of these guys, like, again, Austin Riley, even Dom Smith's fallen off a pretty good bit. Some of these guys need just a couple days. I know Austin Riley's like on all the Real Tree magazines and, Field and Stream. Go get lost for a minute, because we know that practicing ain't helping you, obviously. So go do something else, see if it helps.
Yeah, maybe that's exactly what he needs there. We'll see how it goes. Hey, time now for our 100% chiropractic minute with our favorite doc right here on the program.
If your golf game is crooked, your spine is tighter than a fourth quarter defense, or you just slept wrong watching late night highlights,
My back!
we've got the guy who can fix your swing, your stance, and maybe even your fantasy lineup karma. It's time for this week's 100% Chiropractic Minute on the Morning Rant.
All right, man, our favorite doc, Dr. Feelgood, Dr. Keith Riggy, joining us from 100% Chiropractic in Canton, Georgia today. Doc, man, thanks for being with us right here on the program. Once again, we got the fancy intro for you right there as well. We left off talking a little bit last week about sciatica. Today, I wanted to move into something that you kind of touched on at the end of our conversation last week, and that's bulging discs. Let's talk about it. First of all, how do you treat a bulging disc?
We treat the cases with spinal decompression therapy. The patient lies on a special table which gently stretches the disc and pulls that bulge off of the nerve. When the disc is stretched, it pulls in nutrients and fluid to heal and fill that disc back up. It's kind of like putting air into a flat tire.
Okay, well, that totally makes sense for sure. So when we talk about, bulge disc, and you guys, of course, treat that, and you treat a lot of different things, obviously, at 100% Chiropractic in Canton. Does spinal decompression really work that well? I know there's a lot of folks that are like, yeah, they're stretching you out a little bit. You and I were joking around about, hey, can you make me an inch or two taller? I'd like to at least be like 5'10" at this point. But again, talk about how well it works, and does it really work for people?
Absolutely. It actually has an 89% success rate with eliminating the future need of back surgery.
Wow. Okay.
And I've seen patients walk in so bad, Dave, that they've been carried into my office, and after a set of these treatments, they're, back to their full activities again like nothing ever happened. I mean, hiking, running, golf, you name it. And I actually speak from experience as well. Spinal decompression saved my career and kept me active as well. So it's a real deal.
Wow, I love it. And, and full disclosure, like we've talked about, Dr. Keith's been working on me as well. I've been going down there, on a weekly basis and getting adjusted. And I certainly, notice a difference. I mean, I feel better even in the times where I do have a little bit of pain, man. Dr. Keith working on me a little bit right there goes away. So, I'm excited, not just for this partnership, but also personally and selfishly for the things that you're helping me with. So thanks, Doc, once again for joining us right here on another 100% Chiropractic Minute right here on the Morning Rant.
You bet. Remember, I'm Dr. Keith Riggy at 100% Canton. And remember, health isn't just about feeling good. It's about functioning your best. Live life at 100%.
All right, man. I love it. Thanks for being with us right here, Doc. Again, Dave Garner, Will Cooper back with you right here on the Morning Rant, this Rally Towel Tuesday edition. That was our 100% chiropractic moment, brought to you by our man, Dr. Keith Riggy at 100% Chiropractic in Canton. Time to keep it real right now with my man, Will Cooper. Now, I'm not going to play the Billy D intro because, hey, that's not fair to him. But we've been doing a lot of rant and raving on the program this morning, so we're going to continue to do that. Coop, do you have any other and I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot right here, but you're good for it. Outside of Braves baseball and World Cup, man, is there any other direction you want to go in here today?
Oh, I've got like 100, man. Look, I've got a really simple one, I think. If you're one of these clowns that was on Twitter yesterday or the day before when Flo Balogun got the red card reversed, and you argued and said you're going to root for Belgium because you hate Orange Man so bad, grow the hell up. What are we? I mean, how? If you hate someone more than you love your own country, I can't even begin to describe you. I don't even have a conversation to have with you, man. I mean, it's so beyond fathomable. And I'll tell you what I really love, Dave. We as a sports community have been brought together by two of the dumbest, most idiotic things I've ever seen in my life. First one, Texas Tech, Brendan Sorsby. I, as an Alabama fan, was agreeing with Auburn fans on Twitter, Tennessee fans on Twitter. It was like kumbaya, just agreeing that this was the most asinine, stupid combination of human beings alive in higher education. If you ever wanted proof that college can be a scam, don't go to Texas Tech. It's an ultimate scam because those guys are morons. And then they didn't even have the PR training to just sit there and shut up. They sat there and put out a 30-minute Twitter video in a round circle. It's like an initiation to the Illuminati over there, like, you're going to like it. Okay, that sounds real smart. And then on the back half of that, you got Belgium sitting over here whining and craning. I didn't know that the FIFA office had April 1st on July 5th. Oh, that was a really bright move. You're such an intellectual. It drives me crazy. And then, you get these guys that are Americans that sit on there and go, well, I'm not rooting for Team USA. It ruins the integrity of the game. Shut up. No one cares. You are how much soy have you injected into your bloodstream over the last 5 years where you've lost the capacity for rational thought? That dude had nothing to do with the overturn. FIFA said it's an independent board. You can argue with a brick wall about that, but if you're just going to turn your back on a team that, we should all rally around over that, missed me with that. And I think people got so upset about it, again, because Orange Man called FIFA's office. Oh, look out. We don't want him involved in anything. Yeah, that's so asinine. I wouldn't care if it was Joe Biden up there. I mean, it could have been freaking Mao Zedong that called on behalf of us, and I would be cool with it as long as it meant America had a better chance. These guys are a bunch of losers. You got to be willing to win. I'm done with it. That's what I got. Hopefully that counts.
No. Keep going, man. I'm having fun here. I'm enjoying this. Will Cooper, man, bringing a legendary rant right here this morning on the program on this Rally Towel Tuesday. I hope you folks are listening out there, man. Getting your money's worth this morning. Or Jasper Coca-Cola text line open as well. We want to hear you rant. 866-888-0744. Eventually, we'll be able to hear you rant because the text line will become a phone line and we'll take some calls. But for right now, it's just a text line. So text your frustration to us this morning here on this Rally Towel Tuesday presented by your friends at Geiger Legal. I think a lot of people feel the way you do right now, particularly about the whole situation. Look, it was a bogus red card to begin with. I mean, Messi did the same thing, even more illicit, and didn't even get a whistle. Not even a yellow card. Not even a whistle. Not even a foul called in that situation. So for people to say, well, I get it. For FIFA to overturn one of their decisions, yeah, I get it. It looks a little bit, quote, corrupt and all the different things that people like to paint FIFA with that brush. But at the same time, I don't feel that bad about it because it was bogus to begin with. And honestly, as we saw last night, it ultimately didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But even before that, to your point, get a life, man. Come on.
To me, it's just unfathomable that anybody would hate. You have to separate things in your life. You have to put things in their proper place. And if your anger of politics, or if you, any American that's arguing about the sanctity of FIFA, shut up. Shut up. You know the guy, by the way, that gave Balogun the red card, both the VAR official and the official himself, they were both brought in for a closed-door session in Brazilian court for match fixing. Both of them. And you're going to argue
I
about
heard
the
about
sanctity of the game?
Right. Yeah.
Really?
It's very it's as hypocritical as the WNBA at this point. I mean, it's just a whole nother situation right there. So, hey, speaking of and switching gears, because I'm just going to leave here ticked off today, because of all the things that we're talking about. But you do have your Alabama Crimson Tide polo on here today, as you mentioned. We're just a little over 50 days away, I guess, from everything kind of going down here. Do want to make it official. We kind of mentioned it the other day on the program, but I do want to make it official that the Sports Pig, all right, is also, of course, as we know, it's the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia. But this fall, it is home to Alabama Crimson Tide football. We can go ahead and say that with confidence right here on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com. You can listen to every Alabama football broadcast this year right here on the Sports Pig Coop. That ought to at least bring a little bit of happiness to you this morning.
Well, there's a reason I reach for the Alabama polo when I'm upset, and that's because the script A rarely lets me down. Even in the games that they happen to lose, at least it looks somewhat competitive, minus Florida State last year. But outside of that, very proud for you guys, man. Obviously, the Alabama fan base is very widespread across Georgia. Especially with the way the signal reaches into the mountains, you got a large swath of Alabama fans, including myself. So it's good to know we can hear the Crimson Tide Radio Network and reach into that whenever we're, being drugged to a fall wedding or apple picking, and it's the third Saturday in October, and we're all miserable.
What is it about these people getting married? I get it in the fall, but come on, yeah. There's, I mean, I've had family members get married, and they're all big football fans.
Yeah.
It's not like they're not football fans. I mean, some people that are football fans, I mean, they still get married in the fall. I'm like, come on, guys. I mean, seriously. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
And these people that get married during Georgia, Alabama, or Georgia, Tennessee, or Alabama, Tennessee, or what, any combination of SEC games or what have you. I'm just like, man, come on now. What were you thinking?
I would only ever get married Cupcake Week. That would be the only way I could. I don't know how I would ever get married outside of that.
After week 0, they just need to shut it off.
Yep.
If you're anywhere close to a football fan. Hey, we're ranting right here on this Tuesday morning edition of the program, a Rally Towel Tuesday, presented by your friends at Geiger Legal. Visit us on social media, the Sports Pig on Facebook, the Morning Rant on Instagram, and also on YouTube. Our podcast version of the show uploaded every day on sportspigradio.com and wherever you listen to your favorite daily podcast on both Apple and Android platforms. You can also interact with us on social media. I'm on Twitter at Dave Garner 777. He's at Will24 Cooper with 1L, and this is the Morning Rant. Final segment of the program coming up next. Stay with us. Restaurant inspection scores and much more ahead right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Financial scams are on the rise, and with AI, they're getting more and more sophisticated every day. If someone pressures you to act quickly, ask for secrecy, or request payment through gift cards, wire transfers, or cryptocurrency, stop. Legitimate financial professionals don't rush you or demand unusual payment methods. Before you send money or share personal information, slow down and verify. Protect your future. When in doubt, ask questions.
If you're suspicious of a scam, call the team at Foundation Wealth today at 706-278-0214.
Morning Grind with Pork Rinds.
Welcome to the show.
It's the Morning Rant, weekday mornings from 10 to 11 on 98.1, 93.7, and 101.1 on the H2 dial. WPGY, the Sports Pig.
Back here on the program, final segment of the Rally Towel Tuesday Morning Rant, presented by your friends at Geiger Legal Group. And man, we have been ranting today. Golden Boy, Will Cooper, bringing an epic rant in segment 3 of the show today, as Chuck Oliver awaits on deck with more college football news and notes. Speaking of big events and things coming up, as we talked about the countdown to football season, of course, coming up here soon. Big event coming up July 25th that I want to talk a minute about, and that's Touch a Truck event. Explore, Climb, Discover, an event being put on by the Tutton Group. And looking forward to it, again, July 25th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Mill on Etowah. That's at 225 Reformation Parkway down there in Canton, Georgia. Again, the Tutton Group and Tutton Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram going to be putting on an event. Fun for the whole family. Back to school haircuts. Climb inside big trucks, Jeeps, RVs, and more. Meet local heroes. They're going to have face painting, balloon animals, sweet treats, and more. A bounce house. All kind of vehicles going to be on display there at Reformation, which already draws a pretty good crowd anyway with all the different restaurants and things down there. But again, the Touch a Truck event, July 25th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m., powered by the Tutton Group at the Mill on Etowah. It's going to be fun, and I'm planning on being there as well. Maybe I can talk my man Will Cooper into coming into town for that weekend. I don't know. It's still a few weeks off. But I'll be back from Canada by then. I've got the big wedding coming up next week, so I'll be out next week. The plan right now, just for all you out there listening, is, again, Coop and my man Big John Davis will be kind of handling the week next week. Hopefully we'll have somebody in here pushing the buttons. But in the meantime, we got to figure all that out still. But in the meantime, man, having fun here on a Tuesday morning after a night of debacle from our Atlanta Braves and also from our U.S. men's team. So let's switch the gears for just a minute. Talk about something we all like, and that's food, baby.
Time for this week's restaurant inspection.
Oh, it smells so good in here.
On the Morning Rant.
All right, so each and every Tuesday, we break down some of the most recent restaurant inspection scores. We tend to focus on Cherokee County because our friends at Eat Safe Cherokee, they are on Facebook. You can go on there. They have different Eat Safe Cobb, Eat Safe, Fayetteville, some different areas there. But again, our friends at Eat Safe Cherokee, they compile this information of all the scores that do come directly from the Georgia Department of Public Health. So you can also go there as well. Not a lot of bad scores to report, though, honestly. Congratulations to Zaxby's off of Prominence Point in Kenton. They got 100. Let's see, the Roy Thai Cuisine off of Holly Springs Parkway, also with 100. Congratulations there. Truck and Tap, Main Street, Woodstock, and also Partners 2 Pizza on Main Street in Woodstock, both with 90s. So again, things doing good. Lowest score was 81. And we don't always talk about the lowest scores, but an 81 is not bad. For that being the lowest score on this week's inspection restaurant report, it just goes to show you, Coop, that people are starting to mind their P's and Q's when people start reporting this kind of stuff. Folks, make sure, man, that restaurant's cleaned up.
Yeah, one of my hot takes is that I think there should be restaurants exempt from health scores. Like, I was about to say a name of a restaurant, but I don't want to get down in the weeds on that, so I'll bypass it. If you have a nondescript burger joint, I actually don't care. I'm cool. Like, it's one of those you kind of go into it knowing, like, here's the thing: you can go to like Crystal, and they might have 100 health score. You're still gonna, have the runs for the next week. So the health score didn't actually help you in health terms, even though you didn't technically get poisoned, you still feel it. So if you're owning like a little stand-up burger joint, hot dog stand, even a good pizza place, as long as the guy has some kind of dual citizenship somewhere in Greece or Italy, I'm cool with, if you're running a 50 right there. I don't think you should be shut down for that. It's government oversight, man. I think Teddy Roosevelt talked about this back in the day.
I think something like that. As long as you have a bleach bucket, man, you're good. That's what sure. The thing is, a lot of these inspections, that's what they look for. That you got to have a bleach bucket and got to have a working fly fan at the back door where you bring in all your food at. Because if you don't, then the flies can get in there. So there's certain things that are, and we talk about this because Billy D, my man, typical Tuesday co-host with us right here. He did work in the restaurant business for almost 20 years, was a district manager, regional manager, general manager. And so he understands a little something about these kinds of things. And there is a lot of stuff that's not necessarily directly related to the food itself. It's just, temperature, storage, things that, I get do affect the food. But then there are some items that are not necessarily, even food related. They're just more, from a cleanliness or restaurant, type, infrastructure type thing or whatever with your building or what have you. So you do have to, I guess the point is, and kind of to your point, sometimes you do have to read the fine print and see exactly what maybe they got points taken off for. But there are people out there, and I'm not necessarily one of them, and it sounds like you're not either, but there are people that do base, their restaurant choices a lot on, hey, what's their score? Like how, if a place gets a really bad score, they ain't going to eat there. And my wife's one of them. She's somebody that one of her favorite restaurants a while back got a really bad score. It was a really bad score. Like they were in like the 50s or something. I'm never going back there again. And it was one of her favorite restaurants, to go to. But, yeah, now they've since cleaned the score up a little bit. So we may, time heals.
Here's my guarantee to the people out there. If you go to a burger place that scored 100 and then you went to another burger place that scored a 50, the 50 will be a infinitely better burger. Now, you may die, but that's your prerogative. I mean, life is about risks. I mean, you may die driving to the 100 score anyway. So, live a little. Again, we just got done talking about the soy boys. Don't be one of those losers. Let's be for real. We're all going to die, so live it up while you can. And if you happen to die because somebody had a 50 food rating, then, that's not the worst way to go with this life.
Pick your poison. Hey, man, we appreciate you guys listening in here. Our restaurant inspection score is our weekly update brought to you by our friends at Papa John's in Ellijay. They always get a good score. Better pizza, better ingredients. Order online at papajohns.com. Again, our Jasper Coca-Cola text line still open, 866-888-0744. We did get another comment right here. Trip from Marietta says ESPN ranked the Falcons' overall roster 29th in the league. Sounds about right. That's typically what they do. The running back squad is ranked number 1, though. So, again, between Bijan and Brian Robinson, we got two B. Robinsons in the backfield this year for the Falcons. Can our running back strength keep us in the run for a playoff spot? Not without some other things falling into place, I think. At the end of the day, we all know that this is a quarterback-driven league, and I think the biggest question mark, and probably – I don't know if I'd rank the Falcons that low. You look a little surprised, I can tell, so I'll let you chime in. But again, ESPN ranking them 29th in the league. I think a lot of that probably has to do with the uncertainty at the quarterback position, as we all know. Now, I know you're a fan of Tua because, you're an Alabama fan, of course. But, I mean, what do you attribute the ranking to here?
I would assume it's the quarterback room. Now, I mean, I will have to caution you, as now you're a member of the Alabama Radio Network family over there. Your Tua hatred will have to come way down. Otherwise, you will be boycotted.
I don't hate Tua. I mean, if he comes out of the gate,
you do though.
Firing away.
You do though.
No,
we could tell.
I don't hate Tua.
Is it that he's Hawaiian? Is that what it is for you?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I just don't like Hawaiians. I mean, come on, man. Are you serious?
I never seen you eat pineapple, so that kind of adds up. But yeah, on the other side of that, I think it's probably that. I would say it's also probably a bit of the offensive line questions that are kind of culminated into that.
I agree with that.
And, again, I know people are kind of all up in arms about the Kyle Pitts money. I agree with that to a certain extent. Is he like a top-level tight end? He hasn't been in his career. He can have moments of excellence, but he hasn't been. I also feel like, and maybe this is going to draw some heat from some Falcons fans, I know we spent big money on Drake London. Is he the most underwhelming receiver, number 1, that we're kind of hitching our cart to here and saying this is the guy that can drag us along? I mean, nobody talks about him nationally. When I watch him, is he a good player? Yeah, but I mean, we kind of got spoiled back in the day of the Roddy Whites and the Julio Jones type era. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't probably belong in that conversation in my mind. So, yeah, I mean, I could see it. They're probably an average team elsewhere. And yeah, I think with Kevin Stefanski, we may run the ball 40 times, and I don't particularly blame him for that.
Yeah, well, and if your running back room is the strength of your team, then why not take advantage of that? And you've got some versatility with Bijan. I like the two back sets. I don't feel like, and again, it'll be a different philosophy with Stefanski now as the head coach. I felt like they kind of underutilized the whole, Bijan Algier tandem. Like I would have those guys in the game together. I wouldn't just have them rotating one for one. Bijan's a versatile guy. I mean, it's been said that he might be the best receiver on the team. I don't know why they didn't put Algier in the backfield more and split Bijan, have them both in the game at the same time and put Bijan in the slot, or even split them out wide for that matter and throw a lot of looks at the defense. I feel like the creativity lacked tremendously under the old regime, offensively, and what they could have done. I'm hoping there's a little bit more creativity in what they're going to do now under Stefanski. I know he does like to use the tight end, so it makes sense that they would try to extend Kyle Pitts, and maybe they see something there that they feel like. To your point about Drake London, I think Drake, honestly, is a little bit better than I thought he was coming out. I'm just not sure he's had the opportunities with the quarterback play and this, that, and the other. And he's been injured a little bit too. He's back to our Braves, with Acuna. We don't have a large enough sample size altogether. But I think when Drake's healthy, he's definitely a formidable guy that other defenses have to rely on. Now, is he a bona fide Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson number one? No, of course not. But I definitely think he could be easily a top 10 guy, perhaps, with the right quarterback and the right system in place to be able to get open. He's a great 50-50 guy. He wins a lot of high jump balls because he can jump out of the building. He's a basketball player. So I think in certain situations you can set him up for success. But to your point, yeah, I want to see him get fed a little bit more, and I want to see what he can do, and hopefully he'll have kind of a big breakout year that'll kind of put him in that conversation.
Well, a real quick comp, as I know we're running out of time here, that I think people might want to consider when you look at a running back room. The early 2000s Chargers had Michael Turner, Darren Sproles, and of course LaDainian Tomlinson, and they would run out there in 2 and 3 back sets out of the gun all the time, and that was because Michael Turner was your third running back on the depth chart. So, LT on the wheel route, Darren Sproles out in the flat, and then we're going to actually just hand it off to Michael Turner on a draw, and it worked a ton. So I know they don't have 3 bona fide backs, but 2's good enough. So I agree with you. There's options there, and it's worked in the NFL consistently, even with, not to Doug Phillip Rivers, but with a below average quarterback.
Yeah. And to your point, I think offensive line is going to be key in all of this. I mean, that's the one position group you got to have nailed down. Hey, we're out of time right here on this Rally Towel Tuesday, presented by your friends at Geiger Legal. Coop, thanks for bringing, as always, partner, the Golden Boys, showing out today, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
There we go. As we always say, if you don't know,
you better ask somebody.
That'll wrap it up for us today. We'll see you tomorrow morning around here with our Winging It Wednesday. Stay with us. You've been listening to the Morning Rant. Chuck Oliver up next.
When you get hurt from an accident, it can feel like no one is listening to you. The insurance company talks over you. The bills keep coming. It's like the pain and inconvenience doesn't even matter to them. But your story does matter. And here at Geiger Legal, we will make sure your story is heard loud and clear. My name is Casey Geiger, and my firm stands up for people who have been wronged through someone else's negligence. Let us tell your story. Let us get the justice you deserve, and let's start today.
Call Geiger Legal Group at 833-HELP-GLG. That's 833-HELP-GLG, and let us tell your story today.